Welcome back to the renovation series. This is episode 9. Last week, I set out to breathe new life into these old cabinets, but I hit a few snags with my paint sprayers. I tested 2 different handheld sprayers, but neither could really handle the thicker formula of the Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane Enamel. So I ended up buying a professional Graco airless sprayer, which definitely got the job done, but not before I learned the hard way just how much paint this machine actually puts out. I ended up with soul-crushing drips on every single door. So today I want to slow down, take a closer look at this Graco airless machine, and share what I've learned along the way. Once I found my rhythm, everything started to come together smoothly, and now I finally get to move on to the part we've all been waiting for, finishing these cabinet doors and watching this kitchen really start to come together. If you're new to the series, welcome on in. I'm renovating this 100-year-old house DIY style and on a budget, so hit that subscribe button and join the journey. Makeover flowers. Okay, now we gotta go get some paintbrushes. Today is the day we're finally going to be finishing these cabinets. First things first, I need to sand down all of the drips. I'm using this palm sander with 220 grit sandpaper on all of the flat surfaces, and then I'm going in by hand in all of the detailed areas. I'm making sure to keep the dust down, and I'm cleaning as I go because the only thing worse than drips in your paint is dust.
I've been sanding for so long, I've kind of zoned out and I'm pretending that I live in Hawaii and I own a surf shop and I'm waxing all of my surfboards that are for sale. I don't know if you're supposed to wax surfboards before you sell them. Probably not. But I would in my made-up world. Favorite bin shellac primer now comes in a can, which is perfect. If you use it in a paint sprayer, you have to clean your paint sprayer out with ammonia. And I don't mind doing that, but if I just need to do little touch-ups, this is perfect. So I don't have to like dirty an entire paint sprayer and do that whole cleanup. It's right here in a can.
I'm just giving a little spritz of the bin shellac primer to the areas that got sanded down where you can see the original wood color showing through. I'm going to cover those up, but remember, if you do something like this, you have to go in and give a light sand to your primer afterwards before you go in with your actual paint.
Okay, ready? Take 27. All right, so in your spray handle with this type of sprayer, this is the Graco Magnum Project Painter Plus. It comes with a 515 tip like this. So in my limited research that I've done, the first number in the 515 sequence is the spray width. So I saw somebody said that you have to double that number. So you have like a 10-inch spray width. So that's what the 5 means. And then the 15 is 0.015 is the size hole that it comes out of, I'm pretty sure. So the bigger the hole, the more paint is going to come out. So when I called Sherwin-Williams the other day, they had said this nibs for this specific urethane paint is 0.013 to 0.017. So the 0.015 is right in the middle. It should be perfect, but it was just too much, especially for a beginner person who doesn't really know how to do this. So I bought a 313 tip. So I'm assuming if the numbers are the same, yeah, so it's, look on here, see it says 6-inch diameter. Can you see? So right here it says 6-inch diameter. So yeah, so the 3, you double it, 6 inches. And then the 13 is the 0.013. So it should be a smaller spray and less paint. So I'll have a little bit more control. So I'm gonna switch this one out in the nozzle, and then I'm gonna show you how to set this machine up. So this just goes in there like that. And when the arrow is pointing forward, that means spray. And when the arrow is pointing backwards, it means unclog. So in the directions, it tells you you have to move this a certain way. You just screw it on to the little tip sprayer thing. Okay, I got my sprayer nib on. This is turned to the lowest pressure possible. I got 2 buckets. One is full with water, one is empty. This little hose that has this strainer goes into the bucket of water. This little hose that doesn't have anything goes into the empty bucket. We turn this little switch down here to the prime position, and then we turn it on. This machine does not have like the priming pump. Some of the models do. So we just turn it on and we wait for the water to suction up through here and to come out of this hose. We're just like cleaning the line, priming the line. Now we submerge this part into the paint. So now it's in the paint, and we turn it on and we wait till paint just starts to come out of here. All right, now we got to get paint primed through the line. So we turn this little part back to unclog, not spray. And then we put the little prime lever down to paint. All right, so paint is now coming out of the nozzle. What we're gonna do is turn the lock on. I'm gonna transfer this tube into the paint pail. I put it into the empty paint gallon because I didn't want to waste any more paint. And now paint is going to be sucked up through here, and it's going to come out of our nozzle. Whatever doesn't come out of the nozzle gets recycled back into our paint can, so we're not wasting paint. Okay, this is so much better. Here we go. All right, I've learned some things. Now what I'm doing is I'm turning the door kind of like a 45-degree and getting the edge in like half, and then the edge in half, and then flipping it around and doing the same thing. So I'm aiming for like 1 and then 2. And then I'm having Mark hold it for me because when I looked back on the footage from last week's video, and I was holding it like this, and my sprayer was closer at the top and then got farther away as I got to the bottom, and the main part of the issue was right up top. So if I can have Mark hold it and I can be back and just be an even distance away, that's gonna work. You have to start your spray off of the door because there is pressurized paint in here, and when you first pull the trigger, it spits out like a little bubble. So start your spray off of the surface and then go. What do you think about that?
I like it.
Okay. Let's see if that's too much. Let me see. I think that works. I like that.
I ended up doing 3 total coats this way. The first one was like how I just showed you. The second one, I focused on the edges. Then the third one was just like the first one, feathering everything together. These look incredible, so much better. This doesn't even really look like a DIY job. This looks like a factory finish. These look great, definitely worth the time it took to fix them. I mean, this is a testament to what good quality paint and the right tools can get you. I have let the doors dry completely, and I'm taking the little cup hooks off of the top. Once you take your cup hooks off, you can sand these down and just touch them up with a little bit of paint, and nobody will ever know. It's now time to put our hardware back on. I'm grabbing my little baggies of hinges that I labeled for each door. If you missed the video where I showed you how to label your hinges, I'll link that below for you. But essentially, each hinge gets a 1, 2, 3, or 4 dot system, starting with the bottom left and going clockwise. So the hinge with 1 dot goes on the bottom left, 2 dots goes on the top left, 3 dots goes on the top right, and 4 dots goes on the bottom right. At first, I wasn't sure if this was super necessary, but now that I've put the doors back on, I do think it was a super helpful hack. When putting your screws in the hinges, you should always use a screwdriver and do this by hand, but if you want to use a drill and get them started, that's okay too. I decided to do a mix of designs for the pulls and the handles, but in the same color. For the small uppers and the lower cabinets, I went with these cutie double-ended brushed brass knobs. And for the upper cabinets and all of the drawer fronts, I went with the same brushed brass, but in the 5-inch handles. And I think they pair perfectly together with the alabaster paint on the cabinets and the red barn walls. This is starting to look pretty fabulous. Oh, this looks great. I'm so happy with this. I couldn't be happier with how this is turning out. I love this. I'm so happy we saved All of these cabinets from the landfill. These cabinets are, who knows how many years old. They're not perfect, but that's fine. It's character. I really can't believe that with a little bit of TLC, some paint, and some fresh hardware, these can look this good. Just have a little bit more to figure out with that little corner piece up there and put them on my little trim, but we are so close. And I'm not gonna put the doors on over here just yet, because stay tuned for next week. We are gonna DIY the countertop. I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna work. I hope it's gonna work, but if it doesn't work, who cares? We'll start over and we'll get a laminate wood block, but we're gonna DIY something first.